Hey everyone, this is Rising from Cryptology, and we're here with Kravean. We're going to talk about how Kravean went from 1 month of trading experience to becoming an Associate Analyst at Cryptology in just 3 months. I'm going to ask you a couple questions, Kravean. You can answer them the best way you can.
Yeah, no problem.
So can you tell us about how you went from a beginner with, you said you had 1 month of trading experience, to an associate analyst at Cryptology in just 3 months?
Yeah, sure. So I got into the space pretty recently, in September of last year. I'd heard about Bitcoin and the whole thing about a year before that. So, like a lot of people, sort of kicking myself that I didn't get in earlier.
Yeah.
But anyway, I decided to get involved, get some skin in the game, and I bought a little bit of Bitcoin and some Ethereum back in September. I think Bitcoin was about 5k at the time when I bought it.
Yep.
And pretty soon after that, it started tanking and it dropped down to about 3k.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure a lot of other people have been in that scenario. They first start and then it starts dropping down and doesn't feel great, obviously.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't really know anything I knew nothing about trading at that time. But I was doing a little bit of research online, and the sort of like main forums and things I was coming across, there was all these people kind of saying, hold, all that kind of mentality. So I was like, okay, I don't mind it's gone down a little bit. I'll just keep... I heard about this concept, dollar cost averaging, where you just keep putting a little bit in every now and again. So I started to do that. So that was around September, and then through to October, I was just putting in whatever spare money I had into it, even though it had gone down a little bit. It was starting to recover.
Okay.
And then I thought to myself, hang on a minute, if I'd have sold, if I'd have bought at 5k and it started dropping, but I'd have sold and then bought back a little bit cheaper, I'd have more Bitcoin now. So, it came to me in my own head that sort of being able to trade a little bit would be very beneficial in the long run. Mm-hmm. So that kind of like piqued my interest. So then I started to try and consume as much content about obviously the crypto space itself and also trading as much as possible. I created a Twitter account. I'd never been on Twitter before. I hadn't bothered with it. And it's pretty much solely for crypto. Mm-hmm. So I started following a bunch of people, working out who was good to follow, who wasn't. Started seeing those guys posting charts and hearing about technical analysis. Yep. Then I started trying to find some good people on YouTube to follow. Mm-hmm. And, at the start, I was following what now I guess isn't the best advice, but, over a while I found a few good people to watch and started learning some tips about that. And then I guess the main kind of like turning point when I thought I want to take it seriously, learning how to do some technical analysis, was I bought a book by John Murphy, Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets.
It's a good book.
Which has been, thanks. Been recommended by a load of people on Twitter. So I studied that. So I was reading it, taking notes, learning all of the concepts in there as best as I could. And then I started applying it, really. So got myself a TradingView account and just started drawing triangles everywhere to start with.
How did you hear about Cryptology?
That was through Twitter. So as I was following various people, MindTrader, who's the one of the lead analysts there, I came across some of his charts. I think somebody had either retweeted it or whatever. So then I started following him because I like the style of them. Look pretty good. Mm-hmm. So it was via Twitter, to be honest.
Awesome.
I heard about the group.
Nice. So how would you say Cryptology has helped you as a trader?
Oh, massively. I mean, like I was saying, I was doing my own research and starting to study how to do technical analysis. I decided to join Cryptology, and the biggest thing there was being able to not only have great content on the site, but be able to post charts and have like the experts analyse them and break them apart and kind of tell you what assumptions that you made wrong, what bits were good, looking at the bigger picture, just loads of feedback like that. So I think that is, I would say, being part of a group and having mentors help you is the biggest key to it, really, because we've all got access to the information. I mean, I'm reading a book at the moment about harmonic trading, and it's very technical.
Yep.
All the details in there, and it can be understood, but to be applied is something different. So right now, I'm kind of like trying out some of those theories, posting charts,
Yep.
asking the experts, and they're kind of going, yeah, that bit was right, but you just misunderstood that little concept, and therefore that bit's wrong. So having one-to-one tuition is pretty huge, I think, in terms of the speed at which you learn.
Yeah, I always get comments about how you can post your chart and then you get feedback right away from other members in the community that have already either went through it and learned it from someone else or from reading books, like you said. So that's one good comment I get about cryptology all the time. It's like the community aspect.
Yeah, it's not just the analysts as well. I mean, you've got over 200 people that are all trying to learn technical analysis, and like you just said, everyone's at different stages of competence.
Exactly.
So, you get questions right from complete beginner questions right through to really advanced stuff. So it's not even like you've got to wait for one of the lead analysts to get back to you. The community can help you because they're all trying to learn the same stuff.
Yep. So you said you're studying harmonic patterns right now. Are these the only kind of trades you're looking for these days, or have you learned other stuff that you're also applying? If you find a trade setup, you're taking that one.
Yeah, there's quite a few different kind of trades I'm doing now. It's quite nice because, as you learn more, you kind of add to your toolbox of ideas, and then you can apply them in different ways. So I guess like what I like to do is I have a watch list on TradingView that's probably got 150 different coins on it right now, and I kind of just go through, have a look at the charts on a daily basis. I like to just chart all the different altcoins. Some of them, you can't add anything or take anything away from day to day. It is what it is, but you're looking for different TA signals, different patterns, trend lines, support and resistance, using different indicators to try and see if there's something happening, basically. So that's one thing that I like to do. Every now and again, you'll come across something, you'll see a trade set up, and then you can execute on that. I also like to do BitMEX trading. That's something that I've just got into there recently. So trying to make more Bitcoin from my Bitcoin. I find that pretty fun. I'm not really kind of going for the short time frame scalps. I'm sort of more using my main plotted out support and resistance points on my Bitcoin chart that are like the long-standing sort of different steps between the levels, and sort of trading those. Obviously using some different indicators on that as well, looking for bull and bear divs, different patterns, some of the different indicators. But yeah, I'm finding that quite fun at the moment. I'm also, another thing that I like to do is some of the altcoins, I like to look at the overall market cycles. So if you've seen that a coin historically has had some big pumps and then dropped back down to the accumulation zone, then gone again, I like to keep my eye on those, and I set alarms up for when coins have come back down to the accumulation zone. So these are like the longer term trades that I'm looking at. So
I think I saw one of your charts is like a 1 week chart.
Yeah,
that was yours. That was interesting, actually. I tried to look at other alts, but some exchanges don't have enough data.
No.
Yeah, but that was interesting how it was kind of in a range, and it's like 800%. You said in a couple of weeks after it gets the accumulation zone. That was interesting.
Yeah, yeah, that's something to look out for. I mean, obviously, it's not a quick thing. If you haven't got patience, then forget about that. But yeah, it could take 6 months before it hits that sort of, you know. I marked on that chart, I think, the buy zone and the sell zone.
And you put an alarm.
Yeah, exactly, and put an alarm. Yeah, you can see the life cycle of that coin has gone up, slowly come down, sort of like petered out for a little bit, and then pumped up again, and it had done that like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can use that historical evidence to say, well, that may happen again. So,
yep, very good chances, high probability. And that's really what we look for in when you're trading. It's like you want the highest probability of something happening, and then you try to minimize your risk if that bad side of the trade happens, and you set your stop losses. That's why they're there. Yeah, so that's pretty much trading. It's like risk management and trying to get the highest probability trades. So you were looking for all these trade setups. You have 100 to 150 coins on your watch list. What would you say, what kind of results are you getting from these trades?
Again, depending on what kind of trade it is, they're all different results. So the main like altcoin trades that I'm looking for, I would say on average, the profit margin or what I'm aiming for in terms of the targets. They're quite small. They're, you're aiming for something that is achievable in a shorter period of time. So these trades could be anything from 1 day to a week or 2 weeks, but often they'll complete in sort of like 2 or 3 days. And what I'm really looking for there is sort of between 20 to 50% in terms of profit on the trade, and then offsetting that with something like a 10 to 15 or 20% stop loss. So looking for trades that have got sort of risk reward that are generally at least 2, but sort of like 3 or 4 to 1.
That's good.
So with that, you can afford to have a few losers and the odd winner and still be up overall. But generally, I'm getting about, in terms of results, I'm probably getting about a 50-50 win and loss on those kind of trades. But the upside is a hell of a lot bigger than the downside.
Yeah, you have your profits in the winning ones are much higher.
Yeah.
Yep,
definitely. The BitMEX trades that I've been doing, they've yielded more profit because you can sort of include some leverage in there as well. So that's been pretty good. And then going back to the market cycle type trades, the percentages that you're getting on there are ridiculous, but they just take ages to complete. So if you got patience, that's a real low risk, high reward way of trading.
That's good. That's really good to hear. So how would you say someone can do these kind of trades or learn to do these trades or get the results that you're getting?
I think a lot of it is application, hard work, and study, to be honest. When I first got into it, I started hearing about these different concepts. I thought, oh, that's brilliant. I'm going to make loads of money overnight. And it takes a bit of a reality check sometimes to realise that, like with everything in life, it's what you put into it, what you get out of it. So, I've done well to advance my knowledge how it is now, but I'm still a complete beginner compared to guys that have been doing this for years. So I have big respect for those. So it's
not quick.
No, it's not. And a lot of it is practice. You can do all the study that you want, but I think you have to get stuck in with drawing the charts, having people that are experts that you can draw on to get knowledge. Again, like we talked about at the beginning, is absolutely key. So how would I do it? Just like I've done it really, which is read books, watch videos on YouTube, ask the experts. I find that generally people in this space are pretty helpful to people that are actually willing to want to learn rather than just asking for the next coin that's going to make them rich, Because I think a lot of people that have put time into this have actually got a passion for it and enjoy it. So, they don't mind engaging with people that are learning as long as they're asking the right questions, I guess.
Yeah, I notice a lot of people, when they start trading, they just start following charts blindly, and someone posts a chart like, oh, this one has a profit potential of 100%, and then they notice that if the trade goes wrong, they have no idea what to do because that person doesn't help them in any way. They just following it blindly. Like, they see a chart on Twitter and, okay, this guy has had successful trades. This one should be successful. So then they just go all in or something. And that's the problem I think new guys have is they see a chart, this guy's making so much money, and then they don't know how to allocate their stack size into a trade or where to put stop loss, for example. And sometimes people hold for too long if a trade goes bad. All these are things that you kind of have to experience yourself, but you can also learn from other people's mistakes that they have already gone through. That's how I feel.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the biggest things that I've learned, and this is literally in the last few weeks, because me and you were talking about it the other day, is, I joined the space as it was just about to go into its most sort of like parabolic move ever, which is, November, December, early January. And at that time, I was, obviously a member of Cryptology. I was looking at people recommending calls on Twitter and all these different places, and literally all the altcoins were going through the roof. So it was almost a panic to try and get all your funds allocated into altcoins because fear of missing out, right?
Yep.
And I wasn't setting stop losses. They didn't see them important at that time. Every day you were seeing coins that were like going up by like 20, 30, 40, 50% a day. It was just absolutely mental. So as that was like the first experience that I had, when it came to, obviously, Bitcoin peaked at around 20K and then started coming down from there. All those bad habits that I'd got before, which was like not logging my trades, not being cautious on stop losses, all these kind of things, really like came to bite me in the arse afterwards, because along with that, I decided to put some funds into some, in my head, they were going to be like long-term holds. So I started doing that, and then I was still trying to trade as the market was bearish at that point. What I'd have been so much better doing is just taking a step back, looking at the overall trend and going, look, things are bearish right now. If I can just cash back to fiat for a little bit, sit back, take a look, take things slow, reduce my trading right down, I'd be in so much of a better position right now. I'd have over 4 times the value that I do right now. If I'd have, no one's going to get out at the top, I know that, but recognizing the trend and knowing when to be heavy in the market, when to take some fiat out is one of the biggest things that I've learned, and I think it's the thing that will trip up loads of people when they first get into this. They get excited, they feel that, so you've got $10,000 to work with as your pot. You want all of that in the marketplace at any one time when you're starting, because you don't want to miss out on anything, especially when the market is bullish. But so as well as the trades, another big thing that I've learned is kind of this almost like portfolio management, where it's looking at the market from a macro perspective and thinking, is it in an uptrend, a downtrend, or is it just ranging at the moment? And having a different strategy of how much money I actually want in the marketplace, depending on those things.
You notice how I try to update the group and the community how I'm allocating my funds. So you notice how we're going down bear market, and I was only putting in 33% of my portfolio across a bunch of coins on the way down, and I didn't want to go I didn't want to go heavy yet because we're still bearish. There's no confirmed reversal yet, so that's what people need to learn. Like, yeah, you can dollar cost average down, but you also have to save some. You kind of have to play it safe, because the entire goal is to preserve your capital. That's how I feel, and I try to tell the community how I'm doing it. But I mean, it's their money; they can do whatever they want with it.
I think timescales get so wacky when you get into this space, because before I was in crypto, like, a week would feel like a week, but a week feels like a year right now.
Yeah. Right now in the bear market, yeah.
Crazy.
Yep.
So, you talk about being patient. I mean, patient, you have to be like patient times 25.
Yeah, in crypto.
In a bear market.
Yep.
It takes a lot of skill to be that patient, I think.
Yeah. So right now, what is your day-to-day life look like? What are your future plans, and what are your goals?
Yeah, so, I mean, in terms of this space, I think it's going to be amazing for the future. I think, aside from just the financial aspects of trying to make money with trading, like, I'm a true believer in the technology and what it can do for society. So I'm really bullish on that. But yeah, day to day now, I'm still working a full-time job, but pretty much every second of the day outside of that is all devoted to this space. So, before work, after work, just trying to learn as much as possible. There's still loads of stuff that I'm making mistakes with and that I don't know. So, yeah, I try every day. Obviously, I'm looking at the charts, looking to see if there's any setups that I can trade on, looking at what the other guys are doing as well.
Yep.
If there's an interesting chart, I like to replicate that within my trading view to see, like, where they've got this from, where they've got that from.
Yep.
So I can learn with that. I've normally got a few books on the go as well.
Nice.
To do with investing and, technical analysis and stuff at the moment. So, yeah, my kind of like general game plan is every day to keep learning.
Yeah.
If I can just one thing a day.
And then
365 things in a year, right?
Yep. Then hopefully one day you don't have to have your day job, and you can do this for a couple of days a week, and then you'll be free to do whatever you want the rest of the week.
Yeah. Sounds great. That's what I'm aiming towards, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
For sure.
Well, I hope people listening to this get value from this, and we'll be doing more of these with other members, and it's always nice to share some knowledge to the outside world. So thank you, Kravean. We'll most likely be talking in the group.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.